Hey, everybody. Welcome to 3 Minutes with Dr. T. A little more, a little less. We never know. I'm Dr. Tarma Fleming, here to always remind you that you are whole, that you are complete, and you lack absolutely nothing. So, today I want to ask you a question. Do you know when you are an unhealthy version of yourself, when you are operating in a diminished version of yourself? I want to give you 5 signs to know when you are unhealthy, when you are in a diminished version of yourself, right? So, number one, big one, lack of self care, limited to no self care practices, right? Um, we all know that self care leads to total well being. It leads to the best version of yourself because it leads to clarity, it leads to wholeness, purpose, alignment to your core beliefs and values. So, when you do not practice self care, spirit, soul, and body, not just body care, going to the spa and getting your hair and nails done, but also practicing soul care and practicing those spiritual disciplines. All of those are so connected. So when you practice self care, you are cultivating wholeness in your life, which can bring total well being and the best version of yourself. So, number one, a lack of self care. You already know you're not showing up in the best version of yourself if you're not taking care of yourself. Number two, negative self talk. If you are not empowering yourself, right? If you are having frequent negative thoughts about yourself or your capabilities, you're not practicing self love, walking in self confidence, all of those self, right? Uh, if you're not practicing positive self talk and empowering yourself, then you're already on the path to showing up in a diminished version of yourself. Okay. So, number one, lack of self care. Number two, negative self talk. Number three, physical symptoms. Yes, physical symptoms, because the spirit, soul, and body is so deeply connected. You need to pay attention to your body. If your body is speaking, screaming in any way through joint pains, through inflammation in your body, diseases, illnesses, then you are showing up in a diminished version of yourself because the spirit, soul, and body is so deeply connected. We do have to practice body care, taking care of our temple to show up in the best version of ourselves. So, number three is physical symptoms. Number one, lack of self care. Number two, negative self talk. Number three, physical symptoms. And then number four is you have this overall lack of fulfillment, right? You're dissatisfied. You feel disconnected. You don't feel alive. You know something is off, right? Something is off. And so when you feel disconnected, something is off, and you don't feel fulfilled and satisfied, then you're showing up in a diminished version of yourself. And that's a sign that you're not the best version of yourself. So, number one, again, lack of self care. Number two, negative self talk. Number three, physical symptoms. Number four, lack of fulfillment. And number five, suppressing or repressing your emotions, right? You don't allow yourself permission to release, to grieve, but you just push everything down, right? God cannot heal what is concealed. We have to allow ourselves permission to release, to let go. So if you're suppressing your emotions and you're walking around like a ticking time bomb, you're not in the best version of yourself. You're in a diminished version of yourself. All right. So, number one, lack of self care. Number two, negative self talk. Number three, physical symptoms. Number four, lack of fulfillment. And number five, what did I say? Number four, lack of fulfillment. I don't know what I just said. Number four, lack of fulfillment. And number five is suppressing your emotions. Now, I want to give you a bonus one that is huge, a big one for me. And that is if you are not aligned to your core beliefs and values, you would definitely have inner distress, inner turmoil, and you will show up in a lesser version of yourself, in a diminished or reduced version of yourself. So, what does that mean? If my core beliefs and values, for example, for me, I am a believer, I'm a follower of Christ. So, if I'm not practicing and governing myself accordingly, then I'm going to experience inner turmoil, emotional distress. I'm not going to show up in the best version of myself, of who God fearfully and wonderfully created me to be, because I am not aligned to my core beliefs and values. So if you're not governing yourself as a believer and you're confessing to be a believer, really, this bonus one is the number one, right? You must be aligned to your core beliefs and values. All right, so let me recap those again. Lack of self-care. Number two, negative self-talk. Number three, physical symptoms. Number four, lack of fulfillment. Number five, suppressing your emotions. And then the bonus one, which really trumps all of them, is not aligning to your core beliefs and values, not governing yourself as a believer when you confess to be a believer. All right, that's it for 3 minutes with Dr. T. It was great to speak with you guys again today. Have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend, and hopefully I'll see you next Thursday. All right, God bless. Bye-bye.